Hi, everybody, and welcome to the New Mind Revolution podcast with your host, Michelle Cookall. Listen, as always, it is my honor and it is my pleasure, and guess what? It's even my privilege to be able to come to you today and share some tips and some tools that will assist you in becoming a better you. That's right. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this place, how long you've been making those mistakes. You can start all over again. This podcast is about reminding you that you have a right, you have the authority, and you have the ability to click that reset button and start all over again. I am so excited to be able to come to you one more time and to be able to help you, because when I help you, that's what I'm doing. I am helping myself. That's right. Helping myself. And so I'm so glad to be able to come to you today. We're going to have a good day. We're going to have a really, really good day. I have some information that I want to remind you of, and we're going to take care of those preliminaries. And I have some information that I think is going to assist you in the times that we are in right now, our present time, our present moment. I'm always trying to make sure that I am addressing the issues of the right now so that you can be able to relate, so that you can find where you are in what I'm speaking of and what I'm saying. Something that's going to throw a lifeline out to you, something that's going to throw a rope out to you to help you, to pull you out of wherever you are in your life. I'm so excited and happy because I want to remind you all of how great you're doing right now, and how you are conquerors, and that you're more than a conqueror according to the scripture. So I just want to remind you of that, and I'm excited that I'm able to do that for you today, to remind you of that you made it another week. This is a fresh start today for if you're listening to it live. It's a Monday. If not, if you go back and you listen to it again, this is a Monday morning. And so we have made it a whole week. We've made it over the weekend, and we are here today. So if there's nothing else to be excited about, it's the fact that we have made it again, to see and chit chat and talk with one another again. So I'm so happy about that. And we talk often in our podcast about the fact that it's not what we go through to get to the point that we are, but the fact that we are here. The fact that we have made it, the fact that we have successfully completed and survived, right? We survived it. And so that's what we are so grateful for, that it did not break us. It did not tear us apart. It did not defeat us, but we are conquerors, and we are here today. Listen, what I want to share with you is some information in regards to you following me on social media platforms. I'm available on Facebook, I'm available on Instagram, and I'm available on Twitter. And I do respond to those who reach out to me, and I'll make sure that I read the comments after this podcast, and I will get back to you on this as well. I'm so glad that you took the time to listen and take the time to make a purposeful decision to become a better you. That's one great step towards progression. So I just want you to briefly listen to this little promo. I'm just going to share with you some information in regards to some books that I have out there. It's going to be really quick. Stay with me, but I want to share this with you because most of the information that we discuss here on this podcast comes from these books. So stay with me and let's go. Hi everybody, this is Michelle Cookall, and I want to talk to you today about something very important. I want to talk to you about generational curses and about the threat of complacency. These topics can be found in my books, Breaking Family Ties and Faith versus Fear. These books have transformed so many lives, and I want to make sure that you get this in your library. Listen, you will not be disappointed. Listen, you will not be disappointed at all. This information is so imperative to what we're dealing with right now as a community. Get this book. in your library. Get this book for your family. Get this book for your friends. Get this book for your ministry and change your life. Breaking Family Ties, Faith versus Fear, available on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble. So that's right, you guys. I want you to go, when you get an opportunity, go over to Amazon.com or Barnes and Noble, whichever you're more comfortable with. And I want you to check out the books that I discussed, because these are the topics that we discuss here on the podcast. They are inspired by the books. Okay, so if you miss anything, if you need more information or something that we discuss here, you can always go to those books, because they're going to help you get further information on what we discuss. Okay, today we're going to talk about promises. We're going to talk about promises that people make to us and that we make to other people, and what happens when that is broken, when that promise is broken. And I don't think that people really understand the damage that they cause when they break promises to people. And I'm sharing this because I have had experience with other people who have been extremely affected by broken promises. And some of the most difficult situations is when a child is experiencing the betrayal of a parent, okay, or maybe a spouse feeling the betrayal of another spouse. But we're going to just talk about what that does to another person and how that might make you feel, because you might think that it's something that you're over it. It happened 10 years ago. We talk about this a lot, about residue, about things that happened 20 years ago but still is very alive in a person's life. And I think people underestimate that, because if they don't experience it, they don't assume that others will experience it too. But as we should understand, is everybody deal with things differently. And what might not affect you will affect somebody else, okay? And how it might affect you might not affect somebody else. So we are all different in how we handle things, but it is important to understand, number one, if you are a person who are doing it, to understand that you cause this problem, you cause this pain, you cause this anguish in somebody's life. You need to recognize it and work towards healing for that person. Work towards that, because you are the person who caused that. So you want to make sure that you're the person, if you love that person, then you work towards healing that part of their life. And if you're a person who received this type of pain, and the person that has caused it is no longer around, you need to make sure that you are dealing with this properly in the healing process. Make sure that you're addressing it. You are I believe in putting a spotlight on things that concerns you to that point that it changes things in your life, bringing the spotlight to it. But then once you brought the spotlight to it, begin to change it, begin to allow yourself to get healed from it. People really do not understand, and I'm going to reiterate that again, the impact of broken promises. I was when I was a young girl, I had one of the greatest fathers. We just celebrated Father's Day. He's no longer with us, and those who know my story and my testimony understand that his life impacted my life greatly. And so he's no longer with me. I lost him over 20 years ago. And when I was a child, he would work at night. And every night I would tell him, Daddy, bring me something home from work. Bring me something home from work. And my father, every morning was like Christmas. It was something special, very special, on the table waiting for me when I woke up in the morning. It didn't have to be anything big. It could have been, a candy bar. It could have been a coloring book. Just little tokens of love that he left for me every morning that I woke up. And that impacted me in a very, very good and positive way, but some people experience the total opposite of that. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of how fortunate and blessed I was to have a father that was very nurturing and caring to me, and made me feel very special. And what's beautiful about that between him and I is because he showed me this type of love and respect. I did the same for him. When I was told as a little girl to pack his little lunch for him to go to work, I would sneak in treats for him, cookies and little things that I know that my mom didn't want him to have, but I made sure he had that. That was me learning from him how to treat a person that you care, a person that you love for. He taught me, okay, how to do that because of what he did for me. So I am going to address the issue of those that I have seen and spoken to and watched the pain of their lives, who did not receive that, who did not get that in their lives. The people who they are supposed to trust, that are supposed to depend on, have betrayed them, and that is so heartbreaking. That is quite devastating, and I've seen this pain. I've seen it, what it does to a person. So we're gonna address that a little bit today. And if you are a person who have experienced broken promises, and you find yourself when you're around that person that has done that, it changes your whole demeanor, it changes your attitude. You're frustrated, you're aggravated, there's tension between you and that person, then I believe this is going to help you today. I believe this is going to help you today, because what we do is we recognize something, we put a spotlight on it, and then what we do, we begin to deal with this issue so that we can receive healing. It's about us receiving the healing because we want to be the best that we can be. Life is very short. It's very short. We're only here for a number of days. And so it's important that the days that we are here, we want to have value. We want to have value. We don't want to spend our whole life being mad and bitter and angry and frustrated and stressed out from people and situations and events. We don't want to spend a week doing that. Better yet, years and years and years and years, because it takes a toll on you. And you don't get to have that quality of life that you deserve, okay? So let's talk about broken promises, and let's talk about it from the birth of a child. Okay, when a child is born into this world, there is an unspoken promise automatically expected. Okay, so when someone has a child, there is some guarantees that is just expected, just basic things that are expected. It's expected from society and the child. As a newborn opens his eyes and looks upon the first adult he gazes on, he has an expectation. He doesn't have to say anything. He's a newborn. He's not able to say anything. He's not able to, pull down somebody and bring them close to him and say, I need you to take care of me. I need you to be responsible. I need you to do all the things that is needed for me to be healthy and safe. He doesn't have to. It is expected. It is expected. So he expects someone to do what? To care for him. He expects someone to nurture him, to feed him, and to provide his basic needs. He's expecting this until he's able to do what? Verbalize what he needs, okay? So he's not able, a newborn does not come out and speak and say, hey, I need you to take care of me. I need you to feed me. I need you to change me. I need you to make me warm when it's cold outside. I need you to hold me. I need you to hug me and give me comfort. They're not able to say that, but there is an expectancy, even from a newborn. There is an expectancy that the adult responsible for that newborn will do all of these things for this newborn until this newborn is able to verbalize what they need and what they want, okay? When he realizes that his only way of communication is not getting him what he needs, it would affect him physically and emotionally. Hear me again. we underestimating the impact that we are having even on a newborn. Okay? When a newborn realizes that they're crying, they're screaming, they're rolling back and forth and grabbing at the air, it's not getting them what they need, then it would affect them physically and emotionally. Now, I'm not just saying this. I got research behind this, okay? I'm going to give you some data. You all know I do not share anything that I do not know for a fact from my own personal experience, or that I have researched it so that I can share it with you. I do not believe in sharing something that I don't believe myself. I will not do that to you. Researchers have found babies who cries are usually ignored, will not develop healthy intellectual and social skills. Okay? So this is what researchers have found. That, once again, babies whose cries are ignored will not develop healthy intellectual and social skills. And it's so funny, because how many times have you heard someone say, oh, just let them cry. Let them get it out of them. You can't pick them up every time they cry. These are some things that I heard from parents, that you just can't go get them every time they cry. Well, if something is genuinely wrong with them, this is the only way that they can express to you that something is wrong. A baby cannot talk. So a baby is going to cry, scream, and do any and everything that they can do to inform that adult that there is a need that has to be met. But we as adults would say, well, let them cry. You can't run every time they cry. They'll get spoiled. How can you spoil a newborn? A newborn can't verbalize yet. The only way they can communicate with you is through their cry. It's through them showing that they're uncomfortable. Okay? So these are some simple things, but sometimes we don't see it. We don't see it. We are taught things from one generation to next generation, that is not scientific, not spiritual, just customary, and makes absolutely no sense. It's not something that we should practice, but we just heard it from grandmother, who heard it from her mother, who heard it from her mother, and so on and so on. And everything that was taught is not necessarily healthy or beneficial to us or to our children. And it wasn't beneficial or healthy to them either. But it was something that they did, and it's something that they practice, okay? Research has shown that infants with prolonged crying, now this is not due to colic, okay? But prolonged crying in the first 3 months of life had an average IQ 9 points lower at the age of 5 years. It affects them. Do you hear me? We don't know the details of what we're doing sometimes. We don't understand the impact of what we're doing sometimes. But this is data, and you can look this up for yourself. They also show poor fine motor development according to the research from Term Cognitive Development in Children with Prolonged Crying, National Institute of Health. Okay? So this is where you can find that information at. Okay? So this is real facts and real data. If we start life with broken promises, then we most likely will expect nothing but empty, broken promises. Okay? That's what we're going to expect. We know that whatever we receive on a repetitive basis is something that we are going to expect. Okay? We want to make sure that we're not conditioning our children to expect disappointment, to expect the worst. Not only breaking your promise, but being nonchalant about breaking your promise, it affects your child. Okay? Just like it affected you. Okay? It is nothing worse than promising something to a child and just breaking that promise. We think it's, and I'm not saying something that's beyond your control, something that you couldn't, see through, or that you could, provide. You tried, but it just didn't work out. I'm not talking about that. I mean, just intentionally, repetitively, just making promises and treating your child or, people around you, treating them as if their feelings does not matter. You're just saying things. You're just promising things with no intentions. You're not even thinking about it, with no intentions of seeing it through, no intentions of fulfilling what you said to them. There's accountability to that. There's a backlash to that, okay? A backlash to that. And so doing this and even having the attitude of being nonchalant about it is very dangerous. Kids are innocent, and in their mind, you are truly innocent until you're proven guilty, okay? So a child, when they meet you, and they have developed a relationship with you, then you're innocent to them. They don't know nothing but that you're going to be a man or a woman of your word. But if you show them repetitively that you have no intentions of keeping a promise to them, then you will become guilty in their mind, okay? And that's not their fault. That's your doing. And the same thing that has happened to you. You as a child or even as an adult, when you meet someone, the first thing you don't want to do is be skeptical. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt that what they say they will do. Whether it's being faithful, whether it's being truthful to you, you want to believe that. But if they showing you repetitively that is not in them, then all of that changes for you. And it hurts. It hurts. And it takes a toll on you. Because one of the things that I've seen is that people feel as if it's something that they've done because they have taken this over and over and over again. And then they become angry. And then they become mad and upset. And then they put up a wall. They put up a wall so that they can make sure that they're never hurt like that again. That they'll never get close. I've actually had someone tell me that, they have trust issues because of this type of behavior. And that they have no intentions of allowing people to get close to them because of fear of experiencing this type of pain again. This type of pain. The pain of a broken promise. I think we're underestimating it. I definitely think that this is underestimated. Because people think that, hey, things just happen. It's not my fault. I tried, and they move on. But it affects people. It affects people. And we have a responsibility to make sure that we're not causing this type of trauma or hurt to anyone. And that if we are the recipient of this type of pain, hurt, or trauma, that we make sure that we are positioning ourselves to get healthy and receive the healing that we need from this type of trauma. It can be very, very traumatic. And trust me, I'm coming from a place where I've seen the effect from adults and from children, what happens when they have experienced repetitive broken promises from people that they love, that they care about, and that is supposed to care for them, love them, nurture them, and sometimes even protect them. So we're talking about parents, okay? So if a parent is supposed to be the one that protects you, watch over you, and provide for you, and that is broken, just repetitively broken, it can cause a lot of damage, okay? And we have to make sure that we're taking the responsibility if we are the individuals who are causing that type of damage, okay? Children learn really quickly who they can trust and who they cannot trust. even when they want to believe, so they will still extend, their hand of trust, giving you the benefit of the doubt. They try. They are resilient. Children are very resilient, and they will try over and over again, trying to give you and a benefit of the doubt. Maybe this happened. Maybe that happened. And they'll keep trying and trying until, once again, what I say, it's so repetitive that they can't help it but notice and accept the fact that there has been a breach. Okay. I remember speaking with a young child who was dealing with stress because of their parents' behavior. And innocently, she said, I'm only a kid, is what she said to me. I'm only a kid. I shouldn't have to deal with any of this. And she was so right. And my heart went out to her. She was being forced to deal with something that was unorthodox for someone her age. This is not the norm for a child. And she was wise enough to not only understand it, but to verbalize it. She knew that this behavior was not normal. And she knew that it was something that she shouldn't have to go through. Okay? And so I want to make sure that today we dealt with something so simple, right? But so effective and so impactful to those that are around us that we love and care. Now, this is just not for children. I'm going to emphasize that. But this is for any relationship that we have, whether we are the person who is breaking the promises, or we are the person who is the recipient of a person constantly repeating this awful behavior. We need to make sure that we recognize this and that we begin to either start a healing process to those that we have affected, or start a healing process for ourselves. I have seen adults who, go through life thinking that they're unbothered and that the things that they have experienced in their life did not affect them. And it amazes me, because anybody who can really see what's going on in their life would see all of the residue of all the bad experiences that they had, because they never received the healing that they need from those experiences. Ignoring these type of things does not make it go away. It does not make it better. Masking pain is something that I don't believe in. I believe in unmasking so that you can get to the root and you can begin your healing. I don't believe in covering up. I do not believe in acting as if something doesn't exist. That is a real pet peeve of mine, because it's like not in my DNA. I cannot do that. I've never been able to do that, even as a child. If something bothers me, I always have been able to express what bothers me and move on after I have expressed it and dealt with it. I do not believe in masking pain. I have seen what masking pain has done for people in the long run. I am very intentional about my life. I'm very intentional about protecting my peace, protecting my happiness, protecting my joy, protecting my purpose. It's very important to me. And I want you to be the same way. I want you to be very intentional about your happiness, very intentional about your peace, very intentional about your purpose, very intentional about that. And so if this is a part of the process, then deal with this part. If you are a person who have been on the other end of constantly receiving broken promises from outsiders, family, friends, relationships, children, parents, whatever it is, then this is the moment, this is the time for you to begin to heal. Because we can't control what people do to us. Hear me again. We cannot control what people do to us, but we can control how we respond. Let me say that one more time. We cannot respond to how people treat us, but we can respond to how we can control how we respond to how they treat us. So we are only in charge of ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say. You are in control and charge of you. And we cannot make people love us. We cannot make people treat us right, treat us fairly, look at us a certain way, agree with us. We cannot control any of that. But what we can do is make sure that we are dealing with our issues, dealing with how we respond to their behavior towards us. And then we are setting the boundaries on what we will accept and what we will tolerate for ourselves. That's what you're responsible for. You're responsible for letting people know what you will take, what you will not take, what you will accept, what you will not accept. Coming across your line. Now, as long as they're over there, they can scream and holler and throw a fit on their side. But if they try to bring it towards your side, then you have, this line that you have in front of you. And you say, listen, this is the line right here. This is my space. This is my area. And this is me. And I'm not going to tolerate that over here. And you are more than welcome to have, all your views and all of your issues and all of your problems and concerns regarding me over there. But just don't bring it across my line. We have to make sure that we're taking care of us. We can only control, our area and ourselves, and make sure that we are responsible for our own mental, physical, and emotional health, right? So we talk about that all the time, and it's been my honor. It's always my honor to be able to come and share with you guys some tips and tools that I know it's going to help you to become a better you. Today was great. It was great. I'm so glad that we were able to cover this topic. It's very dear to my heart because I hate to see the pain that it causes. I hate to see the hurt that it causes in individuals. And it's a real thing. It's a real pain. It's a real a gut puncher for people. And so we wanted to acknowledge that today and let you know that I am praying for you, that you receive that healing that you need in that place that you are right now. This has been the Renewed Mind Revolution Podcast. I am your host, Michelle Kakal. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I hope you got something out of it. Make sure that you go and check out these books at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. And make sure that you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. God bless you guys. Have an outstanding day.